Welcome to another episode of the brand called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a well known and respected coach from London, UK, Tracy Clark. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be here and such an honor.
Thank you. Tracy is a leadership and a high performance coach. She's the recipient of two Queen's Awards for International Trade. So, Tracy, before we start talking about leadership and high performance, I have a few questions for you personally. Tell me about your journey and what has led to your focus on working with other founders.
Yes, so my brother and I had our own business.
Hmm.
It was in the international oil and gas event space. We
Wow.
worked all over the world, and we worked with presidents and ministers and heads of national oil companies
Mm, mm,
and international oil companies.
mm,
And we won, as you mentioned, the company won two Queen's Awards for international trade.
mm.
And we expanded profits by over 450% in 5 years.
Wow.
And then we sold it for an eight figure
Yes.
sum.
Congratulations. Mm.
Thank you. And I'm making it sound like it was all easy and full
Oh,
of yeah, but it had moments of great joy,
yeah.
but it also had moments of challenge and uncertainty of leading a big team through
Mm,
times of recession, oil price crashes. And so when we were coming towards an exit, what we decided to do was to bring in a consultant who
mm.
could help us to look under the hood and see what was really going on
Right.
and see whether there were any elements that we just needed to ramp up to
Mm, mm,
maximize the exit number.
mm,
And I expected him to focus on strategy and operations. But he opened my eyes to a side of people, performance, and leadership
mhm,
that I had thought we were good at, but I realized
mm,
there was areas we just didn't know,
mm,
and that this was inadvertently leading us to leave potential on the table.
mm,
And so this sent me on the most exciting treasure hunt to really find out what is it that unlocks potential in people and companies.
mm,
And on that journey, I've gone into the world of mindset, into self-awareness, and really understanding what the source of success is.
mm, mm,
And so now that's now led me to share my knowledge and my findings with other founders who
mhm.
I believe are in the same situation we were
Correct.
in, which
Correct.
was you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
And so I look to bring a breath of fresh air of bringing the people, how to unlock the potential of people and
Mm,
blend that in with commercial acumen
mm.
as well.
What
So
a
that's
great
why I do what
response.
I do.
What a great response. Thank you. And Tracy, when did you realize it was time to move from corporate leadership into coaching?
So it was really around this time when this consultant came in. And
Mm,
as I say, I felt this newfound energy and curiosity.
mhm,
And so what I decided was that what I would do was ensure that the team under me was really strong so
mm,
that when the sale happened, they could go over to the new company and
mm,
I could then move on to my journey
mm,
of discovery and this new era.
mm. Wow. And how has your personal journey of being a mother and a dog lover influenced your coaching philosophy?
Oh, that's such a beautiful question. I love being a mother, and for me, it's brought real humility of understanding. These beautiful children arrive, but they don't have a manual, and
Mm,
we think, goodness, we should know what we do, what we
mm,
what we should do.
mm,
But it's the humility to take every moment and to be intensely curious about
mm,
how to show up and how to bring out the best in each of them, because each of them is different.
mm,
So that's on the children's side. And then my dogs were an unexpected pleasure that came into my life 10 years ago.
mhm,
And they just open my eyes to this true unconditional love that
Correct.
they bring you no matter what, these little eyes of joy look at you.
Mm.
And then their intense playfulness has really shown me how they just live in the present moment and they
Mm.
celebrate every moment.
Wow.
And that has led me actually to a journey that I'm on now that is very much around exploring the power of playfulness within leadership. So I'm
Oh,
very grateful to my children and to my dogs.
how interesting. And this is for I must say, this is a first for me to see what learnings a coach is getting from children and dogs. But
Yes.
you make it so sensible that I'm sure a lot of people will learn from what you've said. Tracy, let's talk about coaching now. And
Yes.
you do so much work and you guide so many visionary founders. Why
Mm.
do so many founders still feel they're carrying the business alone, even when they have such a big team?
Yeah. Do you know, I hear this every single day. I've got this team, but why do I feel like I'm
Correct.
pulling this whole company,
Mm,
myself?
mm,
And and what I find is that founders are under intense pressure
yeah.
to deliver. And they tend to be experts in one area, in a
Mm,
subject, maybe in a technical area, and they know how to deliver and
mm,
they want this. But what they're lacking is the leadership.
mm,
When it comes to leading, they're just not confident.
mm,
So then what happens is when they feel that pressure
mm,
and they have these intense moments, what they do is they step in, they start to take all the action and to deliver because it's
mm.
easier, isn't it? It's easier.
Yeah.
It takes, less time than delegating that's going to feel frustrating. And then, oh my goodness, are they going to do it
Mm,
correctly?
mm,
So that's why they do it.
mm,
But the inadvertent consequence for that is that the team then expects the leader to keep
mm.
stepping in. So
Correct.
they step back and they're creating this vicious cycle. So what happens is by doing this from their very best intentions,
Mm,
they're creating this bottleneck.
mm.
And what I find is that when leaders realize that actually we're not taught about leadership, are we? But
Yeah.
it's okay. Reach out to someone who can help you understand how to be the type of leader you want to be,
Mm,
not about fitting people into a box.
yeah.
So, and then as they become more of a confident leader, they are then able to establish deep levels of trust
Mm,
and skill and performance in their team.
mm.
And that's when they can turn this cycle around.
Amazing. Amazing. And what are some of the common mindset blocks you see in founders when it comes to leading effectively?
There are many. I think one I see particularly is I don't have enough time. Tracy, there's
Mm,
never enough time.
yeah.
And the more they say that, you might have found this, the more it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm,
So what I show them is that founders who actually see that they have enough time,
mm.
what's different?
Correct.
Firstly, they have clarity.
Mm,
Clarity on what are the high value areas
mm,
that they can focus on that is really going to move the needle.
mm,
And then, secondly, the leaders who have time that have confidence in their leadership,
mhm,
so they've been able to build a team that supports them and to whom they're able to delegate the other tasks
mm,
as well.
mm.
So that's one of them that's
Yeah.
particularly
Yeah.
prevalent.
Great point. Great point. You also talk about helping founders become magnetic leaders. What does
Yes.
this term mean to you?
Oh, so magnetic leader is someone who's very clear
Hmm.
on and committed to where they're going, what they stand for, who
Mm,
they want to be, and that impact that they want to create.
mm,
And it produces this huge energy that
mm,
attracts the right people around them, not only in their
mm,
team, but in their partners and in their suppliers.
mm,
And also, not only does it attract them, but it repels, most importantly,
mhm.
the people who aren't right.
Right.
This clarity and this commitment and this passion has both effects. And
Correct.
then when you've got people who are passionate and committed,
Hmm.
High performance, don't you? You get the speed, you get the results.
Very well said. My next question for you, Tracy, is that how do you help your clients shift from a doer mindset to a multiplier mindset?
Yeah. So the doer mindset is the most common that I
Mm,
see.
mm,
And the multiplier mindset is someone who has that, is someone who looks to unlock and expand the
mm,
potential
mm,
in their team, their business,
mm,
and themselves.
mm,
And they do that by embracing a mindset
mm,
of intense curiosity,
mm,
radical open-mindedness,
mm,
and proactive experimentation.
mm, mm,
So they go in to look at how they can solve, what are the possibilities they can create?
mm,
What are some of the assumptions that are there that might be holding them back?
mhm,
And how they can proactively challenge the status quo.
mm,
And as they're doing that, they're incorporating their team in this process.
mhm,
So they're stretching the thinking of their team. And what happens then is through intense, deep listening,
mhm,
they are creating deep levels of trust that provides an environment of intense co-creation. So what happens is together you are creating new ideas, new possibilities, and new solutions
mm,
that take you further.
Amazing. And based on all the work you do with so many coaches, what's one underrated skill every leader needs to develop in today's world?
Think it's exactly what I've just said there. It's intense curiosity
Mm,
and radical open-mindedness. So
mm,
it's be intensely curious about what you hold to be true. Because sometimes we accept things, we have beliefs that are
right.
inherited, that we've seen, we thought have been true. But
Mm,
actually, when we go under the surface,
mm,
we see that maybe they're not as true as we thought they were.
mm,
And when we explore and we see that there are other ways of doing things, that is very liberating.
mm,
And I can give you an example there. So one of my clients and we bond very deeply
mm,
over the whole aspect of challenging assumptions.
mm,
He understands the same that I do. And when he was creating this new business, he had been told an inherited belief
mm,
that it took 7 years to get into this industry.
mm,
He came back and he thought, this can't be true.
mm,
Let me be curious and let me be open-minded about how I can do that in a fraction of the time.
mm,
And with this new way of thinking, he was then able to penetrate this market
mm.
in under 6 months.
Wow.
So
Mm,
that just shows what happens.
Amazing. The other thing that I've heard from a lot of founders and leaders is that on the one side, they say, why am I doing all the work? On the other side, how do I build trust with my
Yeah.
teams?
Yeah.
I'd love to get your perspective on where do most leaders go wrong when they try to build trust?
I think they go wrong with not understanding really what trust is.
Mm,
Trust isn't just about delivering results.
yeah.
Trust is also about showing that you care
Mm,
and showing that you have integrity and that you're transparent. So I think a lot of leaders, what they do is they go into situations, they know their intention is good, but
mm,
they're not expressing it.
mm,
So the team perceives hidden agendas. And it's these hidden agendas
mm,
from lack of clarity and lack of clear intentionality that
mm.
erodes trust.
Very
So
interesting.
that's one of the areas.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it comes from also a lack of self-awareness.
Right.
When we don't understand the impact
Mm,
we're having,
mm,
we're not aware that our intention might be good, but it might not be landing as positively and impactfully with
mm.
the team.
Well said. And what, in your view, is the connection between setting a big vision and achieving high performance?
Well, I believe that purpose is a
Mm,
real driver for high performance. So when when a leader sets a big vision that inspires people
Mm,
and gets people to feel this sense of purpose,
mm,
and that is almost like a calling for them to grow,
mm.
then there's a buy-in, there's a sense of belonging and a desire to contribute. And that will bring out the best thinking and the best performance in the team.
Correct. Well said. The next question is that how do you help leaders cultivate resilience, especially in uncertain or high pressure environments? And a lot of founders do go through this most of
Mm.
the time in the early days, especially.
Absolutely. And for me, I put a slight nuance on the word resilience. I
Mm,
think of resilience as agile resilience,
mm,
because I think that resilience can sometimes be seen as pushing through, keeping going no matter what.
mm,
But when there are uncertain times and a lot of changes around, I don't believe it's about keeping going in the same direction, not necessarily. It's about having that agility and standing back and being able to consider with the curiosity and open-mindedness,
mhm,
what are other approaches and what are other ways that we might be able to, what are other pathways
mm,
that we might be able to take?
mm,
And this offers up new possibilities and it gets founders to see that they don't need to know it all
mm,
in that moment. They can think things through and figure things out.
mm. Amazing. Few more questions for you left now. My next question, Tracy, is how can leaders create a culture where impact and performance go hand in hand?
Impact and performance. So the way I go about it is, and I work with leaders is to gain alignment.
Mm,
So what we want to do is we want to get buy-in,
mm,
agreement, but really heartfelt agreement
mm,
um, into where we're going and why we're going there, so that people feel part of something. They feel that they are emotionally involved in it. And then, so what you're doing is you're creating the emotional involvement and that buy-in, but you're also creating alignment, which
mm,
is fundamental for the leader to know is there.
mm,
Because when you know that your team is here with you and aligned, you feel more confident about delegating, about letting things go, because
mm,
you know that you're all going in this in
mm,
the same direction.
mm.
And I like to think of that as aligned autonomy. So
Right.
alignment that leads to aligned autonomy. And
Mm.
that's what helps you create impact and performance.
Wow. And when you talk of impact, there are founders who are very successful, there are founders who are not so successful.
Yes.
Have you seen a common pattern among founders who go on to create a lasting and meaningful impact?
Yes. It's the ones who create the impact
Mm,
are the ones that really look to solve worthy problems, problems that need solving, and they
mm,
think about them in a very different way.
mhm,
They're challenging the common approach to solving that solution, and
mm,
they're bringing a completely fresh way of thinking.
mm,
So it's the freshness of thinking and the open-mindedness is what enables founders to create really unique products or services to
mm.
really solve problems.
Fascinating. Time for two more questions. How do you handle resistance from team members during leadership transformation?
Resistance is common, isn't
Mm,
it? And for me, solving it comes from really listening, because it's often not resistance, it's
mm,
often fear of uncertainty.
mm,
So really getting to listen to the person to understand what is going on for them, that is crucial. And then really seeing what are their concerns
mm,
and helping work through them.
mm,
As I say, it often comes from a fear.
mm. And my last question for you, Tracy. What are some real world examples where your clients have transformed their teams and seen tangible results? I mean, give me one example, but I don't want any names, of course.
No. Or I'll give you some top lines. So
Sure.
I've got one company more in the sort of the software area who, yeah, starting up and is suddenly winning contracts
Mm,
that billion-dollar companies should be winning.
mm,
And
mm,
how did you do this? By getting them to believe. We
mm,
did a thing. How do we get them to believe and to know that they can be that company?
mm,
So that would be one. Another is I've been working with a team where the CEO came, well, the founder came back into the CEO
mm,
position. And what he started to see was that he needed to bring the team together.
mm,
He's deepened trust. He's got them aligned with where they want to go. And he's also started to see that challenging assumptions that we went back to, he
mm,
started to see that actually his model wasn't just great for their national economy, but
mm.
that it could go global. He'd had a belief that it wouldn't be able to. So those are just two examples
And these are
of
both great examples. But on
thank you.
that note, Tracy, I just want to say what a fabulous and conversation this has been. Thank you for talking to me about your own journey. You've obviously been such a successful founder and an entrepreneur yourself. Thank you also for talking to me about coaching and all the amazing inputs you give to so many founders and to so many coaches, leaders. I'm sure they must be thanking you to say what a great amount of inputs they get from such a successful leader as yourself. Thank you for speaking to me and good luck to you.
Thank you so much for your time and for your wonderful questions.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the brand called You.